Be strong.
Man, Phil, you ain't know what the fuck you talking about, bro. You ain't no blue mage. Hey, like I ain't spent senses divine and top. Like I ain't tried to set up a miracle 7-mana time walk. Tapping and casting the kind of magic that's slapping all of the magic you're stacking. That's lacking the backing of cabin back of flashing them back. You're saddened by my lack of compassion while you're slacking. I'm snacking like I ain't the best to play this game. Forcing negation targets your past in flames. Like I ain't been to infinite convention centers where the magic Twitter hashtag conveniently ain't the same. Like I ain't frightening, never through lightning. Like I ain't lost money trying to buy out Breitling. Like I ain't a fixture, thinking big picture. Shuffle back my graveyard, drinking elixir. You know I'm sculpting your mind, we'll go into time easy. Raveling time, the stack is all mine.
Sleazy.
Parting the veil, forcing dispel. Always shuffling ponders and asked if you would like to reveal.
Seriously?
Like I never got choked, never got cataclysm to crater hoofed. Like I never ever stared at a devil or a chalice to shepherd and planned out every way that I could kill myself. So pray tell, what if what's never happened? How much more time in life would I spend being happy? Would it be a travesty to never see the epiphany of seeing a miracle against so drowsy getting splattered? Like I ain't smart, like I ain't hard, like I ain't sweeping the border drawing 3 cards. Like I ain't chic, like I ain't slick, like I ain't properly stacking these predicts. Like I ain't mall, like I ain't keep, like my sorceries ain't at instant speed. Like I ain't smooth, like I ain't cool, like I ain't entreat the angels. What it do, what it.
Trying to come at me, tell me I ain't no blue. I'm terminus the shit out your board, bro. Terminus the shit out your board.
Hello and welcome to Eternal Durdles. I'm your host, Zach Clark, and with me as always, Phil Bleckman. And we have Nathan Golia back just for this episode. Nate, how's it going?
All right. It's good to be back.
This is great.
It was always with us as always.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's true.
You can keep your catchphrase.
With us
What's
as
we
always.
didn't have it.
What's
Never
funny
did that.
is that we just logged in and it was just like, all right, let's go. And like, it wasn't like, because we talk almost every day still. So
Yeah.
The
All right,
text
so
thread, the text thread continues.
yeah.
people who watch this on YouTube, my background is Vito Thorn of the Dust Grows. And Nate, before you were on, I apologized to Zach for that time where I was sending you guys veto lists every 10 minutes.
Why? That's
And
a
it is-
sweet card.
It's a totally sweet card, but it's only now in hindsight that I really realized the damage that I was doing to your day-to-day like lives by just being like, Phil,
Quality of life diminished.
stop trying to make fetch happen. They were sweet.
Honestly,
They were
I would
sweet.
play. That would be a card I would play. I have not played in quite a while.
Dude, if you have your if you have your tricks deck ready to go.
The card I wanted to play with it, I still don't think it's on MTGO, and I basically am on an MTGO strike until they print the card, Sprout back Trudge on MTGO, so I can play it with Vito. That's my plan.
Oh, Spoutback Trudge is the giant ooze goif, right?
Well, it's a 9/7, and it's like 8 and 2 green, but if you gain life that turn, it costs less to cast. So if you refreshing rain.
Yeah, refreshing rain is really the
Nourishing
freebie, right?
shoal. Yeah, plus you can nourishing shoal with it. So it's got it's just redundancy on actually gaining life and putting something problematic into play. You can cast it from the graveyard.
It's only a matter of time before they actually give us a 20-mana green creature. That's what the what's the D&D creature? The one that really upset you, Zach?
Tarask.
That's not big enough.
Oh,
Yeah, it should have been that. It should have been that, shouldn't it?
so mad. I'm still mad about Tarask. Everyone's mad about Tarask. Ask anybody.
What is it? The expensive enough mana cost that it's functionally infinite mana.
I think over 16. I think I guess
think
not,
Emrakul's
because
the-
like people have cast Emrakul, right? Like I think like
Yeah, Cloud Post is hard cast Emrakul.
it's like it's like 12 colored mana. You know,
Nate?
like I think that at that point.
I mean, they could print something that's at like 100, right? As a gag. But
Right, I'm saying what's the legitimate, like, once you hit 22 mana, it's functionally infinite mana.
Yeah, unless you're playing EDH, because these guys play
okay.
friggin'
Does
Gaea's
anyone
Cradle.
Does anyone play a walking ballista for a lot naturally? Like even Cloud Post, I don't think they play it anymore
No.
as much.
I mean, I don't know.
Because you could just put a huge dude into play that probably wins the game. Actually, probably easier than walking ballista if you can believe it.
If you want to put a 15-15 walking ballista in, can't you just play Emrakul?
Well, that's
Right?
30, right? 15,
Yeah, that's what I'm
15 is
saying.
30, so it's like literally twice as much.
Yeah.
It's just playing Emrakul anyway, and it wins you the game when you cast it the same way.
Yeah.
Because you the time walk.
All right. Well, let's so we're here for we brought Nate on for a reason, and that is because we want to review Innistrad's Midnight Hunt.
Well, when I was like, oh, I'll come back and do this, I thought the set was going to be cooler.
But we
There you
roped
have
you in
it.
anyhow.
There it is.
I was
He's under
like,
contract, folks.
I thought the set was going to be cooler. Like the first 6 cards they put out, I was like, all right. Innistrad, it's funny because, you know, Delver's Secrets and Delver and Snapcaster and Thalia and Grizzlebrand and the Miracles, all the original Innistrad block, you know, they are much maligned, but there was also a bunch of cool role players in that block that also popped up. Faithless Looting, I think, is probably the big one. That could be a boogeyman for some people too, but
Snapcaster Mage.
Snapcaster Mage.
Pour one out for Liliana of the Veil.
Liliana of the Veil is actually a really good one of like a card that was pretty like nice to have.
I paid
for a while.
$70 for like each Liliana at one point.
As
On
a miracle
eBay.
player,
It's still worth that much. So you can.
as a miracle player, I remember Liliana of the Veil being the thing I feared more than anything, because back then we had no good removal for it.
And you didn't want to lose
And-
half your lands.
You got to the position where you're like, it's Sensei's Divining Top versus Liliana of the Veil. There were a lot of games that was the matchup. It was
But the
like,
thing is,
I
like,
have nothing but a top and you have nothing but Liliana of the Veil.
Yeah, that's basically how it works. And but Liliana doesn't win you the game. It just sacrifices half your stuff. So, you know. Anyway, that kind of went out the window with Supreme Monastery Mentor. But yeah, I thought it would be cooler, but well, why don't you start? I mean, you're gonna go through Mythic Spoiler here just in order.
Yeah, we're gonna go from the top down to Mythic Spoiler on the full set page. And let's talk about so what about the adversaries? Did we see the adversaries that were worth checking out?
Okay, so the adversaries, when they spoiled the first one, feels like, oh, this is just multi-kicker.
Yeah.
So
Except
first you got like, so they didn't use it.
It's
because you can't-
it's ETBs instead, so like they're actually better than multi-kicker, but yeah.
Oh, that's right. It's when it enters the battlefield, you may blah blah blah. Yeah, whatever.
So like it's specifically better with shit like Aether Vial, which you know is the only place where something like this I feel like would make it. But yeah,
well,
it's
also,
also
like,
multi-kicker.
They all suck. They're all mythics that suck.
Yeah,
It
Yeah.
sucks.
let's start there and then work our way down. So the other thing that I would say is beneficial in this design space is that you don't spend like, let's say you want to multi-kick one of these guys, you spend it after it's been cast. So it has to be successfully cast, which is like you didn't waste like 8 mana to play something.
I mean, I guess you're
just die.
well. I guess you're right that it's not multi-kicker exactly, but it feels exactly like it.
Mhm.
And it's just it's not like, I mean, they're like payoffs for infinite mana, like just what we were talking about, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
but
I
you
mean,
can't
working
even
with-
but it's not even like payoff for food chain because you can't use the food chain mana on it. If they have multi-kicker, you could.
Yeah, this is
but-
the ETBs. So it like, I mean, I guess working with flicker effects is nice, but yeah, I mean the red one is just a split card that is exactly goblin. What's the goblin that rebuys
Goblin
the
Dark Dwellers.
Dark Dwellers? So
Yeah.
it is a strict goblin Dark Dwellers upgrade.
Doesn't have menace though.
It has haste,
has
and I think
haste.
Goblin Dark Dwellers is a 4/4. This would come in at 3 red is a 3/3. But
But it doesn't cost 5 mana.
I remember thinking like, okay, you could like play Seething Song, then play this, then use the rest of the mana, then play the Seething Song again. But I couldn't figure out. Then I was like, okay, then what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo. Those combos are the best. My favorite. Did I tell you guys my favorite time my favorite vintage experience?
Mhm.
So it was when Fast Bond was, you could play all of the Fast Bonds, and it was when
Yep.
people were playing and Gush wasn't banned yet or restricted yet, so you could play 4 of those, and people were playing like 14 land Lotus Cobra decks. And I remember somebody handed it to me. They were like, "Play this. It's exactly your style." And I was
He
like,
called
"Boy,
this the
howdy, is it?"
Mendelian era.
So I played with the Lotus Cobras and all the Gushes and all the Fast Bonds. And let me tell you, I took a turn that was like 9 minutes of me just drawing cards, playing lands, picking up permanents, putting permanents back down. It was awesome. I took so many game actions. It all amounted to nothing, and I passed the turn. It was great.
That sounds like what that deck used to do. Yeah.
It was amazing. I was like, I have done so much to accomplish nothing.
Yep. That's Phil. That's what it feels like to play EDH, actually.
Yeah. We should do that.
All right. So let's talk about the demon, wizard, dragon, ooze, angel situation. The next row here.
Okay. So speaking of vintage, we have Lier.
I've been saying Lear, but it could be whatever.
Lier. Disciple of the Drowned, that's 3 blue, legendary creature, human wizard, 3/4. Spells can't be countered. Each instant sorcery card in your graveyard has flashback. Oath of Druids. That seems pretty obvious.
Right? Yeah. Play that in Oath, and then you can cast everything again.
The thing about it was, I was like, okay, so first of all, this thing is going to hit at the beginning of your upkeep, right? So, and it doesn't, you can play instants, it's immediate. Like this thing, once the Oath thing resolves, everything in your graveyard has flashback and can't be countered. So you just tap your rainbow land that you have because you're playing Oath. You cast a silence that can't be countered.
Mm-hmm.
Your opponent has that time to kill this thing with a red elemental blast.
And of course, you're playing like a one of what's the green hexproof spell?
Oh yeah, Veil.
It's so long since Veil of Summer's fine too. But I was talking about the one that gives +2/+2 in hexproof.
Oh yeah, Blossoming Defense or something. Yeah, you could. There's plenty of things you could mill that just protect this thing. But doing the Pyroblast hurts, but I don't know. And you can't counter the Pyroblast, which does kind of suck. But I think you should probably win from that.
Yeah,
you just do that. You cast silence. Yeah.
That's all I had. This is one of those cards that I feel like would be excellent if it just wasn't 5 mana. Like this is clearly I mean, maybe this is broken somewhere, but this just screamed EDH to me. Like, I mean, there's a bunch of like fatties that can do broken stuff, but the fact that this is, I mean, hey, praise be for symmetrical effects, right?
Yeah.
But this is one of those where it's really pricey, and in order for it to do something when it ETBs, you have to have more than 5 mana. Because it's only instant sorceries. It's not like you can cast it's not Yogg-Wild's Past the Flames.
I mean, I pretty much only think it's good in vintage Oath of Druids. I don't think it's good anywhere else. Unless you were to you play it High Tide or something. Like you High Tide, you play this, and then then you just High Tide again, you untap all your stuff again, you High Tide again. I don't know, whatever.
5 mana to make your spells uncounterable instead of just playing like
and rebuying your entire graveyard. But
yeah.
So I think we can agree, row 2, there's really nothing else. Even
no. I want to talk about 2 other cards this row.
Oh yeah, okay. All right, go ahead.
Nate, go.
Lord of the Forsaken.
That's why we brought Nate on.
Lord of the Forsaken, 4 black creature demon, flying trample. Black, sacrifice another creature. Target player mills 3 cards. Pay 1 life. Add 1 colorless mana. Spend this mana only to cast spell from your graveyard. So with Lion's Eye Diamond and Devil's Play, that's Channel Fireball.
Phil looked like he was doing a college drinking game while you read that card.
Yeah. You guys don't know this, but that's been what I do every time. I drink booze out of a solo cup while we talk about spoilers.
I'm actually drinking. I have a blue solo cup. It's got water in it.
I've got cider and it's almost empty, but cider and whiskey right now.
I have my feelings in mind.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You get this into play. I don't know how, and then you get a Devil's Play in your graveyard and 3 red, and it's literally Channel Fireball. I think that it's not going to happen, but you could do it. It would be awesome if someone did it. Don't you think?
This is cool. And just another in the long line of, but Grizzlebrand exists.
Yes. But Grizzlebrand exists. Yeah. That's also you can't reanimate this and Channel Fireball as easily. Because that's what I would say. Like you could, because you could, in this case, you would be able to entomb for both halves of the combo, because you would just entomb this, reanimate it, then entomb the Devil's Play, and then tap 3 red somehow. But yeah, it's not gonna that's not gonna happen. But it would be cool if it would be cool if you did it. Maybe there's a Tin Fins way to do that or something.
Well,
like
so this
gain a
is
bunch
like
of life back with Children of Corliss, and then
this is like what used to happen back in the day with the Yawgmoth's bargain decks, where like the OG Yawgmoth's bargain decks used what is it, Scourge Familiar, and you're basically paying life and drawing cards and then discarding those cards for black mana. So this is that whole combo in what, like one card.
Yeah, I was just thinking that with Children of Corliss, you could just pay a bunch of life and then Children of Corliss, and then you would also be able to do that. I don't know. And it's not gonna happen, but I just saw it and I was like, well, I know there's a flashback fireball. So there you go.
All right. Well, so there's another card on this row that you want to check out?
Okay. Moonveil Regent, 3 in a red, creature dragon, it's 4/4 flying. Whenever you cast a spell, you may discard your hand. If you do, draw a card for each of that spell's colors. When Moonveil Regent dies, deals X damage to any target where X is the number of colors among permanents you control. So that's pretty much, that's Trinket text. It's the engine here. When it was released, it was that Manamorphose drew 3 cards was the thing. The funny thing about this card is that you can't, well, not funny, like haha, but funny like I told you so, is that you can't draw a card off an artifact. So it does kind of suck that you can't like use Lotus Petal for value. It's one of those cards that you could like stick in the Ruby Storm deck and just make it probably on turn 1. Like if you make it on turn 1, like let's say you just kind of like spew it out on turn 1 with like a couple floating with like
you write a flame
and then you like write a flame, draw a card, Manamorphose, draw 3 cards, and then you really gotta have it going from there. I don't know how different that is than the Burgee builds, but yeah, I thought all 3 of those cards are pretty, they're not great, but there's something to look at. I don't know.
All right, well let's pop into the speaking of pop, let's pop into the next row here, where we've got Enduring Angel, Poppet Stitcher, Jaren, Corrupted Bishop, Sunstreak Phoenix, and Renin 7.
I have thoughts on Poppet Stitcher. I know we sort of touched on it last time. I was into it very briefly, and now I'm off it.
Like me with emo in 2005.
I am Poppet. It's because it's blue. It's not going to do anything because it's blue. It's really good. It's got the mentor appeal, but Pyroblast makes it.
Pyroblast just exists, right? Like if we could Ghost Flame these blue cards that are so cool, I almost feel like, so I know you guys aren't going to come around on this like I have with Delver, but I almost feel like blue and red blast should just be gone from the format too. Like I hate the just like any threat in blue, any threat in red, the answer is always, like if I'm playing the blast, it's over. And especially red blast, like it just like everyone's playing like 3 to 5 of them in their sideboard at this point. It just isn't. It's like you didn't even think.
The magic that Richard Garfield intended.
I suppose
that's the problem. The problem with
I suppose that's true.
You have to do a way to kill a Murktide Regent, and
that's fun. No, but there's plenty of ways to kill a Murk. You can Sword to Plowshare as a Murktide Regent.
But that's the best way to do it, and it also kills. It also wins counter war. It's too good. And I mean, you're right. I mean, the reason. So the thing about the red blast blue threat, whatever interplay, is that it takes these sort of second tier blue cards like Poppet Stitcher and renders them unplayable because they're just not good enough against Pyroblast. But something like Murktide Regent or Teferi or Uro or whatever you want to call it, or Urza or anything, is worth it to even just even if Red Blast exists. So that just those cards become the reason there's 3 Red Blasts in every sideboard.
And I think I said this in the last episode, but like, why play Poppet Stitcher when you can play Monastery Mentor unless you're like a blue-red deck, and then like you're really gonna get value out of Poppet Stitcher by having like Peasy in your deck too, and then you can be like, and it flips over, and now I'm swinging with a bunch of 3/3s that were 1/1s. Like that could be cool, but like again, like if your opponent's just like, no, I'll just blast it like as you're attacking. That's no fun.
I'm looking. I gotta look at the backside of all these cards.
And also like, ooh, boo-hoo, like blue cards aren't getting the love that they deserve.
Well, it's not that's true though. It's one of those things where it's like, well, this card's maybe more interesting to play than Murktide Regent,
Yeah.
but you can't play it because
Well, like
Murktide
you could
Regent
build a whole
exists.
deck around this. Like this is just like a solid role player in like a blue red token style deck. Where this like could be a really cool, like there's just a lot of cool play patterns that you could play with this card, and it's just they're totally worthless because like if your opponent blue blasts your threat, like why even bother having it?
You talked about this because you could Terminus and then get it back, right? Because you can upkeep it and then you Terminus and then can you flip it back?
Yeah.
you can
Oh,
flip it
you
back
just,
in the
you
next
just get
turn.
it for free, for
Yeah.
whatever reason.
Of course, everything is free.
That would be cool, except you don't need to because you can just play Uro. So why would you?
exactly?
Well, okay.
And then what? Renin 7 seems like it's too
It's so
expensive.
funny how bad it is. You knew
They
that
were
was
like,
going to be
no.
what happened.
The
thing is, it was so
it's good.
It's good at standard.
I want to
I've
see
heard
like
stuff.
Renin
Lance.
15 when like in the future when like how many Tefris do we have? Like we've got like 20 Tefris, right? Like
I've heard it's good in lands.
I bet I'm sure it's fine in lands, but
Plus
like,
one mulch.
lands didn't even need it.
Yeah, I mean,
Lance
it's good.
doesn't
It's
need it,
good.
but it's good.
No, Lance doesn't need it is the answer, and
Yeah.
but yeah,
we were
it's
talking
fine.
about
It's perfectly it's perfectly fine. It's
we
just
were talking about like slow Gurk. You'd probably play slow Gurk before you played this.
Oh, I actually I was not into Slogurk until I thought about Seismic Assault.
There you go.
I was like, that's
There you go.
sweet.
All right, well let's
Yo,
move on.
Can we just talk quickly about how Jaren Corrupted Bishop, sure, it's a humans card and sweet, but the being at 13 life and paying 6 mana, like if you achievement unlocked, you still get something that is so much drastically worse than
So
just putting
bad.
Griselbrand in play.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh well, I guess I can do this. Cool.
Yeah.
And then
It's
like
you just get you just get something that's worse than Murktide Regent.
that only happens if you're on camera at like a major event.
Next line. Should we start with
Yo,
Faithful Apps?
can people stop it with faithful apps? The card
Well,
is
hold on.
trash.
I want to talk about
It's
this card
trash.
though. I want to talk about this card.
Nobody is playing. Nobody will ever. 0 people will ever play. Do you know how good something would have to be to? This is to let my opponent draw a card. Draw a card. I'm gonna let them have draw a card.
Well, hold on a second. Here, the problem is not the draw a card. The problem is 2 mana.
The problem is draw a card.
Can we start with what even this card means?
Faithful Apps
this,
is 1 and away, instant. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. Its controller investigates.
if this was white mana for the exact same text, unplayable.
No, I disagree.
Still
This is my
unplayable.
benefit. I think it's fine. I think it's totally fine. The problem is that it's not 1. At 1, it is Swords to Plowshares that hits planeswalkers.
Right, but they draw a card.
But who cares?
What do you mean?
It's a
who
1
cares?
mana answer because
If
I
they-
don't, okay, hold on a second. Hold on. Because the average 1 mana, okay, here's the issue with this card. Because you can't hit a 1 mana creature on the draw through days, it's bad. That's
Yes.
but like okay. And then you can't really on the draw with 1 mana spell either, but it's better to at least attempt it when you only have 1 land in play. Okay, so if the thing is like killing that creature in the context of that deck, giving them the card doesn't the deck that is playing a 1 mana creature that you absolutely cannot let them untap with, them drawing a card is usually not as good as you think. They're just going to draw other cards that are only really good on turn 1.
Well,
That's my point. Like,
let's also put in the context of if you're playing Delver, that's a tax. Like you're buying turns with that 2 mana.
right, right, and yeah,
Passive.
because
They can do it passively.
Yes,
but
agreed.
but
like,
I think that like
still.
the point is like the pressure on removal now is that you have to be able to kill something that hits the table on turn 1, because otherwise you'll just be too far behind by the time you can remove it. And that's what the problem with this card is, that the 2 mana is ridiculously too expensive, which I don't think should be the case. But because Ragavan is putting so much pressure on the format, you can't play 2 mana removal. If the format was a little bit slower and you could take a hit and you could let things hit you without, you could let your opponent's first play hit you a couple times, it wouldn't matter. Another thing about this card is like think about the 1 mana creatures that get played, right? Goblin Lackey. Do you care if they draw another goblin? They're playing goblins. Like they're just other they're gonna draw goblins anyway. Who cares if they draw the important thing is that they don't get the free mana from the goblin lackey. That's what I'm saying. But this is too slow to hit the goblin lackey before it hits you.
You've already been hit.
Already lost by the time the goblin lackey connects. Mother of Runes, same deal. Like, do you care if they draw another Mother of Runes? No, but you can't hit it anyway. Once the Mother of Runes is untapped, you're in trouble. Like this card, and okay, so and then also against a mana dork, you just let the mana dork live and use this to kill anything they cast off of it. And their deck is still full of stupid mana dorks, and you've killed their tireless tracker, which is going to let them investigate anyway. The problem is that you can't do that on 2. Like 2 is too expensive to do that. If it was 1 mana, it would be incredible. I think this card would be insane at 1 mana. I think it's unplayable at 2, and that has to do with.
Do you think it would be playable with the fact that it doesn't remove things from the game, though?
Yeah, which is, I mean, I still think it is. I mean, I think that,
like, knowing that
I honestly just think
Merit Lage is out there just waiting to like get you with this card.
Because Phil mentioned the card Baleful Stare, which is from, I forget which set, from a few sets ago.
Strix.
It was a black card.
Strixhaven.
Was it Strixhaven?
Baleful Strixhaven
was in Strixhaven. Stupid. Anyway, that was okay. Well, you can get a discount on it, and if you do, the opponent draws a card. And I did multiple times, just like let people, like people would make a Merit Lage, I'd kill it with that thing. They draw another stupid Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth, and I didn't care because the thing that was going to kill me was gone forever.
That's contextual because they spent a bunch of resources on it, and it was good specifically because it exiles Merit Lage, which is a unique effect in black. This at 1 mana, see, like killing their threat. Like, I agree with you that your removal has to be 1 mana. It's why the card literally in this set that's 1 in a black, destroy target creature, lose 2 life. It's the cleanest 2 mana removal spell in black ever, and it's going to see 0 play because 2 mana is unplayable for removal.
Unplayable.
I agree with you on that. I'm saying that in the context of all of the cards that are playable in Legacy, if something hits the table, it generates a card. So for something to ETB, generate a card, and then you kill it, and it generates another card, whether it's a planeswalker or a creature. So, like,
I don't know about that though. I don't know about that.
If they go to Farrier or Narset, go up a card, and then you kill it for 2 mana. So you went up a mana, but they went up 2 cards on the exchange. You're buried. If you do it against a creature, any creature that's 2 mana or more, that's not a lock piece, it draws a card.
Well, removal in general is bad against those cards. I don't think giving them the extra card, especially for the fact that they have to spend 2 mana on it, is really going to be a deal breaker. Because my deck is probably built in a certain way that once I clear that thing out of the way, I might win. That's what I'm saying. Like I'd rather give them, for example, like, not that anyone plays this kind of deck anymore, but if I was playing like an aggressive white deck, like a classic sort of like white weenie deck, or even a zoo deck, I would rather make them spend 2 mana to draw a card to get their Tarmogoyf out of the way than give them 6 life. That would be incredible, especially at 1 mana. But because you can't build the deck that way, you can't build the deck in that way in the first place, because this card is at 1 mana. But this card was 1 mana, and you were like, okay, everything's gone in my way. I don't care about you drawing a card because you're going to take 9, and the game's going to be over. Whereas even with Swords to Plowshares, you're giving them 6 life. I mean, Zudex played Path to Exile that literally gave people a card because it was better to give them the card than to let them gain the life. Now, I understand that Zoo is in play. I'm just saying that, like, that's how I was thinking about this card. It would, if it was 1 mana, which of course we're talking about a card that doesn't even exist, so we got to move on.
Yeah,
but
I'm like,
but I'm just
but
saying,
it doesn't.
I think that would be playable. And even at 2, if it was not so imperative that you kill every 1-drop, other short of Noble Hierarch, which is really the only 1-drop you can let on tap in the entire format, I think this card would be good. But it's not, because you have to kill the 1-drop.
This card could just be Hero's Downfall for 2 mana, still like fringe at best.
Right. Yes, that's another good point. Yeah, even if it didn't let them investigate, it wouldn't be played.
Yeah,
like that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's all about the mana cost and the texture of the format. It's not about the actual card quality, which is fine. You guys talked about Malevolent Hermit.
Yo, Meat Hook Massacre. Just shout out for the best name in the set.
Yeah, it sounds like a
Miho-
stupid like metalcore band.
Yeah,
from
it just sounds like a
2005.
really
Yeah.
bad. Yeah, it's like Dragon Force as far as like names are
Well,
concerned.
Dragon Force is a cool name. I'm talking about like 5 inches or 3 inches of blood, or that stupid band was called.
Dude, 3
I like
inches.
to-
of
Hold on,
rule-
that person is in that band probably. listens to
Whoa,
this podcast.
whoa! 3 inches of blood rules.
I like
actually
to
that's
think
what
of
their name
Meat
was.
Hook Massacre.
Kill the Ox, slay the Ox, destroy the Ox.
That's not the band thing. Five Finger Death Punch was the band. I was
Yes,
thinking
no,
of.
you're
Okay,
correct. Yeah,
that's
yeah.
right.
If you haven't heard of 3 inches of blood, they're great. They're a great Canadian metal band that is like super campy on the level of Dragon Force. They were out before Dragon Force, and you should be listening to them.
Wow, shout out to the Great White North.
Yeah.
Hey,
Smoldering Egg. This was funny. I thought it's like a thing in the ice that turns into a Aria flame.
It's exactly Thing in the Ice, yeah.
Yeah, because you cast an Innistrad source where you put the counters on it. Then if it has 7 counters, you remove them and transform it.
This is
It's pretty cool with
different in
Green
the
Sun
context-
Zenith.
I was gonna say this is like if you play Smoke, the difference
pretty
here is
cool.
like
Green
you can
Sun Zenith.
potentially get there. You can potentially get there faster than Thing in the Ice, which requires 4 spells, because you could go like Smoldering Egg, Force of Will, whatever your play is, put 5 counters on this thing.
No, that doesn't work. It has to be the amount of mana you spent to cast that spell. If you all cast Force of Will.
Well, I just got. I should
But you
have
can
played
delve.
around.
You can delve Treasure Cruise and flip it.
Should have
With
played around it.
I bet someone's gonna do that. Delve Treasure Cruise and flip it in Vintage or Dig Through Time.
yep.
That'll be hilarious. And then you just like ping them every turn with your 4/4 flyer.
How do you
whatever.
feel about Grave Titan? You can natural order for.
Yes. Okay. Like I just lost the stupid thing. I got to read this card again. Every card again. Just too much. What's with all the text? Tovolar's Huntmaster, 4 green, human werewolf, 6/6. Comes into play, you get 2 tokens, and then it's day bound. So if you make it night, it doesn't create the tokens, but if you attack with it, it does. Yeah, I mean, whatever. Seems fine. If you can make it night, how do you make it night?
Cast
It's
2
not.
spells.
It's not just night naturally, right? It doesn't become night.
No,
Once it's day,
it
only
becomes
becomes-
night when night. It becomes night on no spells. No spells equals night. 2 spells.
Oh, that's
equals
right. That's
day.
how you make it day. Okay. Okay. So that doesn't work. You could vial this in. You can vial this in and then
Violet
No
in.
spells night.
vial it in and then make it night immediately. That'd be
There you go.
hilarious, right? Birthing pod or something, right? Like you just get it into play.
And
that way.
you have to assume that your opponent is not playing a Terminus deck after you're at turn like 7
Yeah,
with your vial.
vial on 6.
Yo, quick question for you guys.
You should
Are
be
we done
dead.
with this card?
You should be dead. Yeah, you should be dead otherwise. Okay, yeah. So let's go down
Okay.
to the next row.
I would like to talk about. So there's a common in this set. I'm the only person interested in playing it. It's called Otherworldly Gaze. We talked about it last time. It literally says exactly Surveil 3, Flashback Surveil 3, right?
Yep.
But they don't say Surveil. Same thing with Consider. It's Surveil 1, draw a card, but they don't say Surveil. But let's give a shout out to this new mechanic that is named in the set, which is Note. Sigarda's Splendor. As it enters the battlefield, note your life total. Sick new mechanic.
They have note on stuff. They've had note on
Totally, man. Totally. But they don't. They
I
don't
think
say.
Note was
They don't
first-
say write down your life total. They use Note. It's a mechanic. But we can't use
well,
Surveil.
yeah,
We can't use
it's a
Landfall.
Microsoft feature.
Guys, I will die on the
Nope.
hill that they have made mechanics that they refuse to use because they don't want to overcomplicate sets that already have novels of text on every single card.
This is
It will be the
super
hill. It
complicated.
is the hill.
Yeah.
I will kill myself on that hill.
I'll be there with you. I'll
I
be
hate it too. I hate it
right
too.
there with you.
I hate it too. But
Okay, Sigarda's Splendor is not going to see any play, but it's a cool card.
you talked about Memory Deluge, which is fine.
Yeah, I
We
should have played
did.
around that one too. I walked right into the mistake on that one. It's also for mana spent.
no. Storm the Festival. Did you talk about that one yet?
Nope.
3 triple green. Sorcery, look at the top 5 cards of your library. 2 permanent cards, many value of 5 or less. Put the rest on the bottom in random order. It's got flashback. I don't know. Elves. Whatever.
Too expensive.
They don't play Collecting Company, which I thought they would. So I'm wrong. I was wrong about that. Okay, this next one. We could talk about how stupid Coven is.
Suspicious Stowaway. I like looking at cards like Suspicious Stowaway and then like imagining it's 2016 and Rug Delver players just losing their goddamn minds. That's
Look,
like
I
just
I
like
would
some
not have
really
played
good
that in
times.
2016.
This card flips to become non-pyroblastable, Zach.
I
You think
mean,
about
once it
that, Zach
flips,
draws
got
cards.
that going for it.
Draws all those cards, bro.
And then you just draw a card for free.
Drawing
I mean,
a card, man.
this is not better than a card that you play at 2 mana that's already not pyroblastable in Rugdelfer.
Yeah.
Nate, you strike me as somebody who could break Willowgeist.
I did see it. They have done this whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard. The only one of those cards that gives you a thing for each card that leaves your graveyard is Tormod. Nope, that's one or more. I feel like there's one.
You got to play like Phyrexian Furnace.
I mean, honestly, like Willowgeist and Relic of Progenitus is just put a +1/+1 counter on this every
Phyrexian
time.
Furnace.
Yeah, but then what do you got? You don't have a ton. It's got that.
You're literally removing.
If
your
it was like
graveyard.
if it died and like created a token that was its size or something, that would be something. But it's not going to.
This would definitely be cool if it was a 2/1 that made a treasure and drew a card when it attacked, though.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Shout out
Okay.
to Curse of Surveillance for being the closest thing to the Gate movie we'll ever get in Magic the Gathering.
Curse of Surveillance. Oh, okay. Beginning of target players. I'm beginning of target players. Other than that player, each draw. Whatever. I'm not even gonna finish reading.
No, it's not a good card. It's just the eyeball hand thing.
Yeah,
I love that.
they're
On a
still
scale
doing
from-
that.
On a scale from 1 to 10, 6 being the highest, how good is Curse of Silence?
Hold on. What are these cards? I don't even know where you're seeing them. Curse of Silence. Whoa.
Apparently, it's very good.
Yeah, Brando likes it.
Oh, Curse of Silence. We haven't gotten there yet, have we?
My bad. I'm jumping ahead.
You're jumping ahead. I guess I'm just saying, like, should we talk about anything else on the way? Do you want to hurry up? Slaughter Specialist. Each opponent creates a token, and then a creature an opponent dies, you get a +1/+1 counter, but it's already bolted by then.
Yeah.
As long as you control.
There's
the
a
token,
2/1 there's a 2/1 for 1 mana that we're not even interested in looking at.
Not even interested in looking at. I know. One in a red, discard a card, sacrifice a vampire, draw 2 cards. If an
Look how-
opponent lost life,
Look how far we've
up.
come from Savannah Lions.
Fuck
No one
off.
cares.
Yo,
No one
this would
cares.
be.
I would rather have Savannah Lions than this.
This would be like you look at this card and there are so many. There's like a bunch of different like hoops you have to jump through for some reason. But like this would have been sick with
Madness?
Bloodghast.
Yeah, Bloodghast.
No, it's you have the Olivia from the last set, right? You drop a vampire
like-
and put it right into play.
I mean,
Oh no,
Village-
I get that. I'm saying that like Bloodghast will give you the vampire fodder to continuously sack it over and over to keep going to turn through your deck.
yeah, so that you could discard a card and pay 1 in a red and sacrifice another, whatever. Like you're not gonna do that in your with your 1 mana 2/1. You're gonna get in. You're gonna get in. You're gonna play Stromkirk Spirit or whatever the thing is that gives your makes your vampire thinks it's a 3/2.
Yep.
So stupid.
I like that people are cosplaying Grizzlebrand now in Innistrad. Like
Yeah, Mask of Grizzlebrand.
It's a whole new paradigm, man.
Okay,
No one's
I
afraid of
will say, okay,
Grizzlebrand
Mask of
anymore.
Grizzlebrand, 1 black, legendary artifact equipment, equipped if you're just playing Love Link. When it dies, you may pay X life or X is its power if you do draw 3 cards. I did have a stupid idea. Oh, I'm sorry, draw X cards. It's equipped 3. So I did have that deck a while ago that was like remember the Mox Opal Rogok deck that people played for a while? And you play equipment and you had Mox Opal and like I don't remember exactly everything that was in it, but I was like, oh, like you just put a cranial, like with a cranial plating, and you just attach with a Fervent Champion, you can attach stuff for free, basically.
Oh,
so you
okay.
can be able to attach this to Fervent Champion, attach cranial plating for free, and then you'd have this big creature that when it died, you just refilled your hand, but you just refill it with more shitty Mox Opals and Mox Ambers and Rogox and Fervent Champions. So I guess it doesn't matter. Then I had the idea of course, Blazing Shoal on something with this on it, and then you just Blazing Shoal sacrifice it, but
Instead of attacking your opponent, you just like sacrifice this creature and draw a bunch of cards and like take a Phil EDH turn.
yeah. Curse of Shaken Faith, 1 in a red. Whenever enchanted player casts a spell, it's a curse. Whenever enchanted player casts a spell, in the first spell they cast each turn or copies a spell, Curse of Shaken Faith deals 2 damage to them. This card, I mean, I don't know that it's better than the average 2
Is
mana.
it better than Pillars?
Storm Hate.
Yeah,
Well, it doesn't hit you.
it's true.
And-
It's true.
And the fact that it doesn't hit 1 spell a turn doesn't seem to matter because it's still going to win when they try and storm you out. Like,
Yeah.
you know, so I was trying to
It's
think.
also
like, what,
very hard for them to get rid of. Like they have to bounce it.
well, that's
Decay.
how anything works. That's how anything works with storm.
When you play that, you play Eidolon, and there you go. Bob's your uncle. They can't deal with both of them at the same time.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's like,
I mean, it's decay or bust, right? So
Yeah.
but the thing is, like, so is this good enough? It's good enough against storm. Is it good enough against anything else? And that was the thing I couldn't figure out, because
Over, maybe
they would just cast one
you
spell a
wouldn't
turn,
care. Yeah.
cast
or they'll
type
bolt
you're
you
dead.
and take 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they cast bolt, you take 3. Cast second bolt, you take 3, and
They can also just like ponder on my turn, bolt you on your turn. You know. Like,
yeah, exactly. I don't think. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's good again. I mean, it's good in counter wars or something. Like if you wanted to like
it's
say
not going
that.
to counter worse because you went down a card to play it.
Yeah, that's right. I know. But you've got this stupid card in your deck. Yeah, I know. I was good against Flusterstorm. There's an example, right?
Oh yeah.
Like
yeah,
it takes
there you go,
Flusterstorm off the table, but again, like I don't think so. The thing is, like the relationship of any card is like, is it good enough to beat Storm? Yes. Are they going to bounce it? Yes. So is it good enough against anything else? No. Never mind. Augur of Autumn, 1 green human druid. It's 2/3. Look at the top card of your library anytime. You may play lands from the top of your library. Coven. As long as you control 3 more creatures with different powers, you may cast creature spells from the top of your library. We're going to talk about this card because I want to talk about how stupid a mechanic Coven is. It's so stupid. Because you have to. I know that that's how these words work, where you have to explain the word. But it's like this is never going to be the case, except maybe in limited, that you have 3 or more creatures with different powers.
Well, the thing that's really funny to me about this is that the Coven is the concept of Coven. So is 3, right?
3 witches.
Based off of what? Based off of Hamlet? Like, why is that a Coven? That's
They
not a
quoted
Coven.
Shakespeare many a time before, Zach.
In 4th edition was the last time they quoted Shakespeare.
Well, I'm sure it's like 7th edition, but yeah, like
that's because they didn't have the rights to anything.
What I think is funny about
now they're
it is
buying
that,
the rights to everything. So
what I think is funny about
quote
it
everything
is
but
that
Harry Potter.
3 or more creatures with different powers, which has a meaning in Magic, which is how strong on the attack a card is or a creature is, right? But when you read it, it's like different powers. Like, oh, I'm the witch of fucking springtime. I'm the witch of summertime, and I'm the augur of autumn. But that's not really how it works. If it was 3 or more creatures with different abilities, that might actually be at least more interesting.
Make a little bit
more sense.
Because it makes sense if like a witch has flanking, and another witch has phasing, and another one has like.
Because what your witches are Grave Titan, a zombie token, and a veteran explorer. Those are your witches.
Yeah, those are your witches.
Like,
dude.
yeah, they got 3 different powers. Yeah, they're very different. Okay, Curse of Silence, 1 white. Enchantment or a curse. Enchant player as Curse of Silence. As battlefield, choose a card name. Spells with the chosen name, enchanted player cast cost 2 more to cast. Whenever enchanted player casts a spell with the chosen name, you may sacrifice Curse of Silence. If you do, draw a card.
I think this has potential because, I mean, look, there are cards. Let's say you're the aggro deck, right? And there are certain cards that you care about, and 2 mana. Like when somebody plays Thalia against me, and then like, if let's say it's my turn 1, I hold up a land for a removal spell. They go turn 2 Thalia. I can't remove it. It time walked me.
And then they say Swords to Plowshares. They play this and say Swords to Plowshares, and you're doomed.
I'm saying that like.
I'm agreeing with you.
I don't think that this card is like insane by any means, but like it's getting no coverage right now, and I feel like it incidentally is going to be good in the combo matchups where only 1 card matters. And then it's also it's Cabal therapy that taxes them, and then if they get through, it draws a card, right? So like in the world where
if you want
like
to.
Yeah,
like this is obviously not as good as something that would strip like the combo dex card that matters. Like against Doomsday, they could just get to 5 mana and cast Doomsday. But against decks where the card that you're trying to delay isn't the game-ending spell, like this is a tempo card, and like 2 mana is gigantic in Legacy. And I just think that like in a world like have you had Elite Spellbinder cast against you yet?
Oh God!
Like
no.
I get that it comes.
I don't remember back up.
I get that it comes with a 3/1 body that can beat down while the tax is happening, and it looks at your hand, and so you can choose what to pick. But that's 3 mana.
Yeah.
This is 1 mana, And if you want to prevent your opponent from doing something, you can just check them, right? It's like, you know how what you call it? If somebody's scared of something, they'll like Pithing Needle Jace the Mind Sculptor. And then if I draw Jace the Mind Sculptor, I'm like, well, this was unlucky for me, you know? But
So
this one draws a card.
you know why this card won't see as much play as it should?
Pray tell.
That's because Sensei's Divining Top is banned.
Wow. Wow, you done me dirty.
Here's the thing though, like I think it's fine. I just can't. So okay, it's an enchantment. So I was like, okay, maybe Enchantress can play this. It's a 1-mana enchantment. So it comes with draw a card on it anyway. And then, but what does Enchantress want you to not cast? I guess like they could name whatever they think is going that you have in the deck to stop them if you have anything. So
Like,
that's fine. But again, like who's going to play? Like how much Enchantress is going to see play? And then what is this going to come in for or against? Like what does Enchantress have trouble with? Like
I'm just saying that like,
from this century. So
it's a 1-mana enchantment. So there's something to be said. The fact that
the late 1900s.
It's permanent. There's something to be said that it's a permanent as opposed to a spell or a creature, right? So I mean, being a permanent can matter, but the same way that any sphere effect can like turn off counter magic too, right? Like,
yep.
There is something to be said there. I don't know. This
Yeah,
strikes me as
I
like
think-
cards that have had this effect before have been historically playable in Legacy.
I just can't figure out how to play it. That's the thing. I don't know.
Sure.
Like, is it a 4 of in your main deck, and you're gonna just and like maybe you're playing like maybe you're going to thought seize them, take a 1 drop, and then play this on a 2 or 3 drop to just keep them off of it. And then you always know that you can if they like okay, I'll play through it. You draw another card, and now you know.
I mean, it's similar. It's similar to Cabal Therapy in that like you can check 2 cards in their hand if they have it.
Yeah. Yep.
You know.
Yeah, they got like 2 ponders and you ponder. You take brainstorm, name ponder with this. I mean, they'll probably get a chance to cast ponder, but I don't know.
3-mana ponder blows.
It does.
What's anything else in this pile worth talking about here? I mean, Unnatural Growth is funny in that like if they had printed this during Mirage, they would have told us like they would have spoiled it by saying a card that reads similar to Berserk, and everyone would have lost their minds until they saw the casting cost, and we'd still be disappointed.
No, it's Cobalt. Well, I guess it'll work with Cobalts. You can play it with a guy up a guy's cradle with your elves though, and just be like, maybe this is a thing. If maybe they curse a silence creator.
Each creature. It is each creature. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought Geist Flame Reservoir again. Like it's one of those charging up things that you can do as like a backdoor win if you want to. But yeah, probably not good enough in a world where like Abrupt Decay gets played. Okay. I'm fine on anything.
I think
here.
we've briefly touched on Brutal Cathar, but like Skyclave Apparition exists, and Skyclave Apparition is better because it's a point and click card. I call point and click cards where you just cast it and destroy it. It'll remove something, and you just you're like point to a card and it just goes away. But Nate, Jadar, Goo Caller of Nephalia, it's a 2-mana Ophiomancer.
Yes, it's
Come on, bro.
Ophiomancer. Yeah. And actually, I actually was thinking about that.
Get
It
your
is a
snake
2-mana
on.
Ophiomancer. Ophiomancer makes a creature, makes a snake, 1 snake. You get 1 snake at a time. So yeah, this will make a 2/2 every turn. You get down on the first turn. That's out, right? You cast it, pass turn, you make it 2/2. Next turn, you attack with a 2/2. It dies, and you make another.
No,
2/2.
it's at the beginning of your upkeep. It's the same thing as Ophiomancer.
No, it's the beginning of your end step.
Oh, end step. You get it immediately. Fucking awesome.
And Ophiomancer is the beginning of each upkeep, which means that when you cast Ophiomancer, it goes to the next person's upkeep. You get a snake then.
Trigger,
and then
yeah.
you can block with it, and then you get a snake on your turn, but you only get 1 snake ever. I just like Ophiomancer. I think it's a cool card. But yeah, this is a fine card.
I feel like this one's also more relevant because zombie is a much more relevant creature type than snake.
Yeah, it is.
And Human Wizard is pretty relevant, right?
Human Wizard, and it's a snake. Yeah, it's probably a little better. I think Ophiomancer might be Human Wizard. Let's look it up.
I mean, I get that you can't block with these zombies, but like, I don't know. I feel like a 2/2.
Ophiomancer is a
often-
shaman.
Shame.
2/2 that can attack is going to be better than a 1/1 that can block, right? Except against specifically Ragavan.
Well, if you have like some sort of zombie lord, maybe too, like it's a zombie. I don't know. It makes a zombie, which is a thing. I don't know. Having
I mean, with the
decayed,
sack outlet, it's just like, yeah, I mean, you're doing aristocrat shenanigans, right? But like,
Oh, sorry. I went to
Go
the
ahead,
next
go
card. You were still talking. I was going to the next
nah,
card.
go ahead. Yeah.
I read this next card when it was Spoiled Obsessive Astronomer. It's not good. Whenever day becomes night or night becomes day, discard up to 2 cards to draw that many cards. You know what I thought of? Our old friend, the love song of Night and Day.
I mean, this card reads like a Hooters song.
What?
Day by day, da-da-da-da, whenever night becomes day. No,
I don't know what
nobody.
you're talking about. No.
Hooters, Hooters
stepped
was
on my-
also famous for that song "All You Zombies" that started off with like "Holy Moses to the
the restaurant. What are you talking about?
Hooters was the name of a band in the 80s, in the late 1900s.
Yeah, that's too obscure for me. This
Yeah,
Death Bonnet, okay, Death Bonnet Sprout, okay. Let's read Death Bonnet Sprout. For 1 green, it's creature fungus to 1/1. At the beginning of your upkeep, mill a card. Then if there are 3 or more creature cards in your graveyard, transform Death Bonnet Sprout. And then it flips to a 3/3, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you can exile a card, and if it's a creature card, you put a +1/+1 counter on it. This card sucks. I just was laughing because I read it and I was like, this, like, if you, like, it's the cadence is the same as Delver of Secrets, where it's like a 1-mana 1/1 with like like that duh and s, you know, in the title, Death Bonnet Sprout, Delver of Secrets, you know, it's got that same cadence. And then you, at the beginning of your upkeep, do a thing at the top of your library. Then you can transform it, but it sucks so much compared to Delver. I thought it was funny how that worked. And they just printed Delver in the set anyway.
Then they printed Delver in the set anyways.
Champion of the Parish. Now here's an argument for your Decayed thing. This is the card I saw. I was like, sweet, this is gonna be awesome because this is a good zombie card. This is
yeah,
the
you turn 1
drop.
this guy, turn 2 your snake maker.
Your zombie maker.
Yeah.
There is something to be said about Champion of the Parish, as like, I get that zombies isn't playable in Legacy, but
It's not unplayable.
it's not unplayable. It's, yeah, you know, it's a tribal deck. But this, so the same way that you can spend your mana every turn with Carrion Feeder with your Gravecrawler to just put +1/+1 counter on Carrion Feeder, it's the same thing with that and Champion of the Parish on the table. They both just get the counters for doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So Carrion Feeder gets it on the way out and Champion will get it on the way in.
Right. The thing, yes, and that was, this can block and Carrion Feeder can't block, which is actually
it's really good for the tribe, for you, the can't block tribe.
Yeah. That's an important part. Excuse me. Zombies, you said it's not playable. It is, but Hogak is just the only thing you do, and it's really about playing Hogak. So
Okay, Nate. Okay, Nate. Okay, Nate.
I'm saying I love zombie decks.
Yeah,
but it
so I got
sucks
a
that
deck for
Hogak's
you.
in all of them.
Bro,
So
I got a deck.
Why
for
don't you play
right now.
Jadar in your Hogak deck?
Hold on,
Honestly,
I
you
got a
might as
deck.
well.
Here's the deck. You know Shambling Gas, the new card that was printed in some set recently?
Okay.
When it dies, you can choose
Champions
to give
of
something
the released.
Oh my
set.
god.
Shambling Gas, when it dies, you can choose to give something -1/-1, or you can make a treasure, right?
Yep.
Okay, sweet. You know what Liliana Untouched by Death does?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I did see this.
4-mana walker has -3, says you can cast zombies from your graveyard this turn. So what you do is you have the Shambling Gas on the table with the sack outlet. You play your Liliana, you make it so that you have a Yogg-Will for zombies forever for the turn, and you just make Infinite Storm. But you know what your sack outlet could be, Nate? Nate, you know what your sack outlet could be? Could be Goblin Bombardment to do infinite damage.
Right, it could be. But you
Could be.
could, but yes. I mean, yeah, you could, one could do that, which is true. Unfortunately, no, but here's the problem. The problem is that you can't get Liliana into play any of the things any other way that you want to play the zombie deck. Whereas
Culling the
Hogak
Weak exists, bro. Culling the Weak.
actually, I actually kind of like that.
Shambling
Now that you
Gas,
said
Culling the Weak.
Yeah, I'm
Cast my
actually.
Liliana. I have a treasure. Cast my what?
That's actually not a bad idea. Maybe
Oh.
I'll do that.
I got a story for you guys. Speaking of, that's a thing you can do. So I was at the Legacy.
Could you do? Hold on a second.
Sorry.
Can you do it on turn 1? No, you can't. You need 2 mana. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
You can do if you have Lotus Petal, sure.
Yeah,
Your combo
awesome.
deck.
And then you just do it.
So
and then-
I'm at the Legacy Pit Open, and I have my deck, which is almost entirely altered, right? So I go to the head judge. I'm like, hey, judge, I need you to check my alters. He's like, absolutely. Let me take a look. So he's sifting through. He's like, wow, these all look good. I don't see anything that is offensive to the rules. They're all pretty much extensions, right? I was like, yeah, you're not going to run into anything. And then we're having that conversation, right? Like back and forth. I'm clearly present. And then as he's sifting through my deck, at one point, it's as though I just disappear because he just says to himself out loud in full earshot of me as he sees some card in my deck. I don't know what it is, but he sees some card and goes, yeah, I mean, I guess that's a thing you can do in 2021. We are having a dialogue, and then he just says that as he's sifting through my deck, and then just keeps going as though he didn't say it. And I'm like, dude, I'm playing this deck in the tournament that starts in like 5 minutes.
This guy's gonna fucking lose.
Oh, so how do you do in the tournament?
These altars actually are not legal, but this deck is so bad that even if you're cheating, it doesn't matter.
Don't bury the
He's like,
lead.
let me
You
do
won,
you a
right?
favor,
You
bud.
won the tournament, right?
I went 6-3.
That's not bad. That's
Yeah,
pretty good.
It's
right
not
there.
bad. Yeah,
That's
it's
Pretty good for a deck that you can do. You can get shit talked on.
You
Hey,
wanna know what the mystery
you played
is, though?
6 matches. You played 6 matches in 2017 and 3 matches in 2021.
Here's the thing. I'm looking at. Afterwards, I like looked at my deck and I'm like, what card was he looking at?
Counterbalance.
My guess
Probably.
is it was. I'm assuming it was Sabo's Web, but I'm not sure.
Sabo's Web.
Sabo's
Web's
Web
great.
slaps.
Yeah, dude, that card
won me, like,
does slap. Yeah.
Because
that
of
card won
Urza
me
Saga.
3 matches.
I know. Urza
No,
Saga.
there's a second. Dude, I've just Armageddon's D&T opponents because they were like, all right, tap my Caracas and my Port and my whatever, and then I was like, yeah, get you. I played against a D&T player. So every time I cast Sabo's Web, we had readers, right? So I played against a D&T opponent. I don't have any lands he can wasteland. He taps out to get a threat down instead of porting me. I slam Sabo's Web. He reads it and he goes, oh, wow. So this is just back to basics that's better against exactly me. And I was like,
Yes,
it's better. Right. It's better. It's a better back to basics against things that include you.
But no, it's literally designed to beat port. The card literally exists.
I mean, that's why it's there. Yeah.
That's why it exists. Did you know that?
No, but let me tell you, it felt great.
Yeah,
now I'm like,
Port was a menace back in the day. That
because
Port was
that's-
like everyone was playing.
Everyone
with
played
ports.
port. And then
You
in
were
the
an
next-
aggro deck. You were playing Port. You were a control deck. You were playing Port.
And port came out
As-
in masks, and this came out in invasion.
Yep.
as somebody who has
$5.68,
never,
by the way.
as somebody who has never cast Abrupt Decay target counterbalance, being a card that was designed specifically to hate out another card,
Yeah,
I now know what it's like and how good it feels.
it feels good. Okay, we're at
Feels
an
great.
hour. Zach, you gonna make it? You want to keep going?
Yeah,
we're
let's
like not
keep-
very
let's-
far.
Let's keep going. Well, what do we even have left? It's all uncommons.
Yeah, let's just all. Does anyone keep
Scroll down to
scrolling
the
down until you
multicolor
see
stuff.
anything?
So there's actually one curse that I think it's in the commander set, but it says it's a cursed target enchant player, and it says whenever a land enters the battlefield under the cursed player's control, you make a 2/2 zombie with Decayed.
What?
Right?
Hold on, let's find it. Let's find that. That actually sounds pretty good.
Well, I was
Curse,
saying,
Curse
like,
of the Restless Dead. Enchantment or a curse, 2 to black. Enchant player, whenever land enters the battlefield under enchanted player's control, you create a 2/2 black sonic creature. You know what?
you just curse yourself.
Actually, what?
You just curse yourself,
Oh yeah, you could curse yourself.
right? You curse yourself, and then every land drop is a 2/2. It's Field of the Dead.
I need to get that DJ
Holy
Khaled
shit.
sound
I was
bite.
Am
just
I
thinking.
wrong?
I was just thinking, like,
played yourself.
can you not? It's enchant player. It's not enchant opponent. Huh? You can do that.
So I mean,
That's stupid.
the zombies are worse because they have Decayed, but like it's 3 mana, and then every your explorers and whatnot, your fetches just make 4 power. But instead of going to 7 lands and needing them to all be all different types, you can just play not all of that.
I mean, I read it. And I was like, okay, I'll just ritual this out on turn 1, and then make my opponent's going to play a bunch of fetch lands, and they're going to just give me a bunch of guys.
I mean, you can, but now
Or
you
you
get
could-
to control it.
Yeah, which you could do. One could do that. Yeah,
I mean, that's something, right?
yeah, it is. It is like kind of something that's. I'm sort of surprised they designed it.
Like you never curse your opponent; you always curse yourself.
Hold
I
on,
can't
Curse
read
of
it and not see-
Unbinding. Hold on a second. There's another one here. Curse of Unbinding. This is 6 and a blue. But at the beginning of enchanted player's upkeep, that player reveals cards from the top of their library until they reveal a creature card. Put that card on the battlefield under your control. That player puts the rest of revealed cards in their graveyard. That's Oath of Druids.
For how
That's Oath
much?
of 6 and a blue.
Yeah. Well, there
But
you
you can
go.
Oath of Druids that only targets yourself. But I'm thinking, like, wait a minute, hold on a second. What if we could get this into play? That's Oath of Druids.
Couldn't
It's literally just Oath
I
of
guess
Druids.
I guess Oath of Druids is banned in this format.
Yes, right. Oath of Druids is banned in this format.
Couldn't you
Oath
just
of Druids
cast
is-
Oath of Druids?
Oath
No.
of Druids is not bad if it costs 5 more mana, Zach.
No, it's not. Yeah, but like, okay, well, can you get this into play? I'm kind of interested in this now.
But why would you? Why would you put this into play?
Because the other only creature in your deck is that blue guy from the other set, and then you
Sure.
then you just win, and you don't even
There you
need to
go.
do anything. But you got to get 7. Ooh,
you just
that's
needed 7 mana.
Why did they design this card? Why did they design this Oath of Druids? That's 7 mana. It's like,
Well, they
it's
couldn't
literally
just make
it's
a
second
green
oath.
one because green's the best EDH color. So
It's also weird. It's weird that it's blue. It's weird that it exists, and it's weird that they even bothered with it.
Well, no,
it's
I mean,
literally
this effect is notoriously in blue and bribery.
yeah, you can steal stuff from your opponent, or you can also do it to yourself, right? At the beginning of enchanted player's upkeep, that player reveals cards from the top of their library until they reveal a creature card. You get the card under your control, and then that player puts the rest of the revealed cards into their graveyard.
Yeah, so this
So
is
you
Oath
can just
if
put
you
it on
target
your-
yourself, but I think they're if they're talking about this as design, they're like, oh, why don't we make Curse of Bribery?
this is, by the way, I know you guys don't play a whole lot of EDH. Dude, people in EDH hate it when you start playing with their cards.
Well,
That's every card design now is playing with your opponent's
It
cards.
is.
tell
It
it to
is.
the judge.
No, it's the worst.
Like,
It-
the judge,
well,
judge of
it's-
the design team.
It's not even that. It's like we live in an age now where we play Magic on like Zoom and stuff, right? Or
Yeah.
I'm pretty
you can't
sure-
even pull the card to your side of the fucking board.
Dude, I'm pretty sure that design, based on how they're designing, everybody loves playing with your opponent's cards. Because
but,
every
like, when
set
there
is
are
only
three
play with your
other-
opponent's cards.
When there are 3 other people watching you do it, it becomes swiftly like you're the idiot at the table that nobody wants to play with.
Dude, when my opponent plays with my cards, you need one opponent. You only need one opponent to make it not feel good.
Yeah, it's true. But imagine like 3 opponents. All right, well, let's go to the gold cards.
Yeah, we didn't look at the gold cards. We skipped down to the commander cards. I'm gonna scroll all the way back up here. Okay. You want to talk about Teferi who slows sunset?
Yeah,
think this
Teferi.
card
You want to talk
sucks.
about how good you want to talk about how it's the second coming of Stasis, obviously.
But who cares?
What do you mean who cares? Explicitly,
I-
the other 2 people
I
on this
do.
podcast with you care. Yeah.
Why?
The only 2
why
people
is
that
it,
care.
why is it better than Ral Zarek?
Because it what do you mean?
Why is it better
Read
than
it.
Ral Zarek?
Because it does everything that Raul Zarek does, but better.
You gain life, which is nice. It keeps you in the game.
Ral
draws
Zarek
cards.
taps your opponent's shit.
And untaps your shit. And Teferi, who slows the sunset, taps their
Untaps your
shit
stuff. It
and
doesn't
untaps our shit.
It doesn't
And-
tap their stuff. You just choose the stuff and then you untap the permanents that you control. It doesn't have to untap their stuff.
Yeah, but you
What do you
gain
mean
that life.
Tap. I'm saying tap the chosen permanents you don't control.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I don't think it's that good for. I don't think it's like earth-shatteringly good for stasis.
What we
No,
need is
nothing
enough-
is ever
we
going to
need
be
more
earth-shatteringly
stasis.
good for stasis. This is a marginal upgrade from Ral Zarek, which means that it's a marginal upgrade for stasis, which is a huge boon for stasis every time that happens.
Yeah, we're talking margins here. I guess. Well, you were saying it, and I'm like, what the hell are they talking about? This
And who
card
wants to
kinda-
play red cards in their stasis deck? There are no
Dude,
Kismets in red.
It's contextual that it's in leagues better, right? It's marginally better, but in the context of stasis, that's a lifetime.
Yeah, that's 6-7 years worth of card design for us to get to.
I
get to this point.
Florian is such a cool card that won't see play, but like it's sick.
I actually think Ral Zarek's better, but that's just me.
Wow,
Because it taps their thing. They put a land into play on
Because
tap,
you can
tap
take
it.
dude.
a random number
card-
of turns in a row after you have stasis.
I
Ral
don't know how
Zarek
this-
upkeep.
Ral Zarek is Kismet. Ral Zarek is
I-
Kismet and the untapper. It does
I-
both things.
Oh, you're saying that because this can't choose 2 lands in the same plus that you can't
No.
do both.
No, I'm saying that because it Ral Zarek tap target permanent and untap another target permanent. So
Right.
if they play a land and try and sandbag it, you +1 Ral Zarek and tap the land. And
And I'm
then
saying that
they
you
never
can do
untap
that
it,
with this
and you
too. By
No, you
tapping
can't.
the land.
Well,
You can
have
tap
to-
their
yeah,
land.
You just
No,
have
you
to not
can't.
choose a land.
No, you can't. Choose
up to
up to
one-
one target artifact, up to one target creature, up to one target land. Untap the chosen permanent you control. You don't tap anything. You just gain life.
Read the last thing.
No, you got to read the actual card, not the.
Oh, okay. So my problem here is that I was reading the text that was, a size for an old man and not the size. So you do tap the chosen permanents you don't control.
So the difference here is because you can only choose one land.
Sorry. Okay. I'm sorry.
Ral's Eric is different in that you can choose two lands, so you can tap their land and untap yours, which you can't do with Teferi.
I just think it's funny they didn't bother to transcribe that. They're like, who fucking cares, man?
It's too many words.
Too many words.
This is literally that's a novel. That's a whole chapter of a novel right there.
Shout out to Denick, Pious Apprentice. Hashtag we love symmetrical effects.
Denick, which cards graveyard capable target spells abilities. That's cool. That is cool. I wish it did something. What happens when you transform it? Oh yeah, whatever.
It doesn't do anything, but I mean, come on, man. Symmetrical effects, they're learning.
Yep. Let's see. Florian. There's a family story that's stupid. I'm not gonna tell it. You talked about Ludovic with the transforming thing.
Yeah.
Rem Carolus would have spell would deal damage to you or the permanent you control. I think I said this to you and said Wheel of Misfortune.
Dude, old stick figures is such an awesome name for such a do nothing card.
Oh, I was trying to figure out a way you could win with this card, and there isn't. But I was like, because if you only have one other creature in your deck and you cast this for one, you just find that creature and entomb it. But that's nothing.
You're like, yep, I've put my Gravecrawler into the graveyard, and this is a horror.
Rite of Harmony, like here's a card for your Curse of Misfortunes or Curse of whatever, Curse of Silence, because it triggers off enchantments. But there was one you want to talk, right? You want to talk about something here.
Well, here's a question, right? So Tovolar is on its front face, it's not good because it's a 3-mana 3/3, right? But with these new werewolves, if it's night, then when you cast the card, it just enters on the night side.
If you cast it, it enters on the night. Is that how that works?
So I think so, yeah.
If it's nightbound and you cast Tovolar, it just ETBs as its transformed side. So you still cast it for 3 mana, but it ETBs as its transformed side because it's nightbound. So
you've netted a 4/4 for 3 mana.
Well, then you can attack that turn and then draw a card for each.
Yeah, so like you need the early enablers to make it nightbound, but is there any? There's nothing there. Okay,
it's good for the EDH deck, right? Because you cast it from the command zone. It'll come in from that's what it's for. Let's see. Hold on, you talked about Siphon Insight, which I think is a dumb card. Like,
dude, drink twice. Come on.
Yeah, whatever. It's just
Siphon Insight in the Veil of Summer Economy.
Yeah, looks great. Slowgurk, I mentioned Seismic Assault, which I was waiting for you guys to do, which you never did.
Wow.
Glue Colors Harvest. Well, Croaking Counterpart, again, every set's an unset.
I would never have mentioned Seismic Assault, but I may have mentioned Land's Edge.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's easier to cast. Croaking Counterpart, every set is an unset, so
yes.
Just who cares? Like,
why do
they put out unsets? Every set is an unset.
Can we talk about why is this card both sides of the Disney Halloween special with both Mr. Toad and Ichabod Crane on one card?
Is it really? I didn't see Ichabod Crane on there. Oh, because he dresses like Ichabod Crane.
He looks like Ichabod Crane. Yeah.
Yeah, you turn him into a thing.
It's his wild ride, dude. Ichabod Crane's wild ride.
Is Faithful Mending good enough to make Lingering Souls and Octavia playable?
It would be sweet if it was. I did think that was an interesting idea. So really the 2 life doesn't matter, right? They just had to make it white and blue. So they added two life.
This is a red card.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, obviously it's a red card. It's a red card. It's such a weird card. It's cool that it's an instant. That's actually kind of cool. You could pass a turn with it up, and if you but there's no good madness stuff in white blue. So I guess maybe that's safe. You can't instant speed play a bunch of root wallas and then do something the next turn.
You should.
It's fine. It's fine. But the thing is, I just don't think. I love Lingering Souls. One of my all-time favorite cards. Top 10 for sure. And I wish it was playable, and it would be cool if it was. So maybe I'll try that. But yeah, I mean, the effect is not worth 2 mana on the front because Is It Charm is never played. And we just passed a card that did the same thing. That was 2 mana as an instant. But it is cool. I mean, you go ahead. I hope you try it and have some success, because maybe I'll try it if you do.
You know, Cabal Therapy, Lingering Souls, Faithful Mending.
It's all there. It's all right there.
It's all right there
for you.
Those are all spells that make Octavia cheap.
What's Octavia?
Octavia, the Living Thesis, bro. It's an 8/8 octopus that makes your stuff 8/8s, and it's functionally hexproof.
Yes, this spell. I remember this card now. This spell costs 8 less to cast. You have 8 or more instant sorcery cards in your graveyard. It's Ward 8.
Yeah, Ward 8 is functionally hexproof.
Yeah.
Nice.
What about these artifacts? Are there any good artifacts? Mine's Jack-o'-lantern, which is just cool.
I will take a guess that Pithing Needle will sleep play.
Yeah, right.
Currently,
the Celestis is your way to make it night or day. No, these all suck, right?
yeah, they look all bad.
I mean, yeah,
Stuff
Jackal.
Bear.
I wish instead of Soul Guide Lantern,
Big bear,
which
big
is
bear.
playable, that it was called Jack-o'-lantern, because I feel like that's cooler, but every set's an unset.
I like that this could very well you could almost build a Roadhouse deck with some of the cards from this set, because you got Stuff Bear, you get the Innkeeper from like the previous set. You could do a whole Roadhouse based set for this.
How do we feel about Hostile as a sock outlet?
Every set's an unset. Just hostile and creep. First of all, creeping in is way worse than hostile.
It's way worse.
Just like
creeping in is like a joke card that like I made up when I was like 14.
Put a soul counter, then if there are 3 or more, return it, remove it, transform it, and then tap it. Excuse me. And then you could phase that thing out. It's so stupid.
I guess activate only as a sorcery means that the sack outlet sucks. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, activate only as a sorcery. There was actually a card we didn't talk about in the gold cards. I want to zip back up that you're mentioning that, because I do remember that. Corpse Cobble. Blue and a black. It's an instant. As additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice any number of creatures. Create an XX blue and black zombie creature token with menace, where X is the total power of the sacrifice creatures. This is a way to sacrifice a dreadnought.
Yeah, dude.
On the stack,
you can Lazav knot this guy.
Do you guys remember when they printed exactly this? We had the same conversation about dreadnought when they printed it in green, black, and Strixhaven.
No,
but it made 1/1s, right?
It made
that many 1/1s. Oh my god!
So it's exactly that card, except instead it makes a big
12/12,
but
it's on
big thickness.
But it's on color. It's on color.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's blue. You can force it. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And it has flashback that you're never gonna cast. Come on.
But it's got flashback. So you
how much is the flashback?
It's
5 mana, bro. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh my effing god. All right. Well, that does it for this set. Woo, man. Well, they put some stinkers out in this one, I think.
Dude, I am so upset that Flesh Taker has a mana gate on it.
Yeah. It would be sweet if it didn't.
That would have been a cool fringy build around if it didn't have a mana gate.
Also, you could get to play that awesome art.
Yeah, so sick.
It's such awesome art. Like, I don't know. Yeah, it says human, but it's not. It doesn't look like a human, which I love. But yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to say I was disappointed. I wasn't really disappointed, because it's hard to disappoint me more than just anything else they do. But you know, I kind of was like, oh, Innistrad usually has cool cards. It didn't.
The biggest offender still, as always, they have abilities. They've designed abilities that they don't use. There's like 6 vampires in this set that all have spectacle, and they just refuse to put it on the card.
That would be confusing.
It would be so confusing.
I'm just looking around, like there's some like cool, like there's some cool cards that like their effects are never good anymore, but they would have been good even when the first Innistrad came out. In standard, tapping at the window, 1 in the green. It's look at the top 3. You get a creature card, put it in your hand, put the rest in your graveyard, and it's got flashback. It's like a mini mulch for creatures. Like that kind of card. Like they had that was playable in the first Innistrad block. It was a mulch that got you a land or a creature, but it was But I'm just saying, like, I don't feel like they're gonna
Grizzly
build around it.
Salvage, I believe, is the card you were talking
Grizzly
about.
Salvage and Ravnica, but this card, it had flashback for blue. Memories, it's not Memories Journey, it's
Memory.
it wasn't Memories
Lapse?
Journey, but the other one.
Not Memory Lapse.
And I say CIGU and then
Yeah.
flashback, because that's gonna bother me. I don't know, but it's old style Magic. They're gonna print some other card that has like a zillion like words on it, and where is it? It's not Memory Journey, it's the other one. Therefore, like this old style like mulch deck, Tracker's Instincts,
There you go.
which was literally a mulch for creatures with flashback for 2 and a blue. So this card is on. It doesn't require you to splash blue to flash it back, but you only see the top 3. But I didn't see any cool graveyard shenanigans in the set, really, other than Disturb, which none of the Disturb cards were even really all that interesting. You did talk about Otherworldly Gaze, and I know that it's not. I thought your comparison of it to Sensei Dividing Top was really interesting, honestly. Pretty smart, pretty clever. I didn't see it that way. I just saw it as a Citrus Supplier for Phoenix decks, because it would be cool if you could play Citrus Supplier to Phoenix, or the Merfolk that mills and then you get to cast it as an 0/4. But this is the next best thing, because you get it's two spells. But of course, you got to get the things into your graveyard, and they're not going to guaranteed to be there. And it's not as much. It's not the reason Stitcher Supplier is so good is because everything in that deck is good in the graveyard.
That and also Stitcher Supplier after on turn. So Stitcher Supplier is mill 3 on turn 1, but it's also it taps for 4 mana on turn 2.
Yeah, right, exactly. Hogak just dominating any of those strategies.
Should
I will say that the Demi Lich, right?
Yeah.
That's the 4 blue thing that could work with this card too.
Yeah.
So you've got a little bit of synergy, but again, don't see it really working.
It's a lot of mana.
They should unban Underworld Breach. Actually, they should.
We give a shout out to the Soul Sister with flashback?
Is there a Soul Sister with flashback?
Yeah, Lunarch Veteran. Literally the Soul Sisters text, and then it has Disturb for 1 and a white.
That's cool. And you can cast it from the graveyard?
Yeah, it's literally a Soul Sister with flashback for 2 mana.
Lunarch Veteran?
Lunarch Veteran. So it says whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. And then it has Disturbed for 1 and a white. It comes back and has Flying as a 1/1. And it says whenever another creature you control leaves the battlefield, you gain 1 life. So it's a reverse Soul Sister.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Huh. What's the story here? What's going on? It's just, are there werewolves everywhere? Oh God. And I read something about that, right? That it's supposed to be Innistrad werewolves. They didn't put enough werewolves in the set and everyone's mad.
No, they were upset that they didn't make a commander deck that was werewolves because they don't have the tech yet to make double-sided commander decks.
No, well, there was that. I think it was also, this was introduced as Innistrad werewolves, right? That was the teaser for it a couple of years ago. And it's called Midnight Hunt, which sounds like a werewolf thing.
It sounds werewolfy. Yeah.
And there's not enough werewolves in it. There's a bunch of stuff that disturbs or whatever. But again, just like a company has no idea what they're doing. The next set is Crimson Vow, which, again, remember when we talked about
Magic the Gathering, The Bachelor.
American Werewolf and Innistrad.
Crimson Vow is literally just Red Wedding.
Yeah.
Literally just oh, I get it. Haha. Again, you try to do anything
no, that's the thing is so the people, this is the same problem with the music industry, Nate, is all we have is boomers making decisions now. And these people have no creativity. They're just looking for their easy cash grab.
I'm taking a stand here. They are incredibly, all this shit is creative. The red wedding stuff, I get it. I see it. I totally see it. But we're gonna get a bunch of wedding puns now in our cards.
This joke is 5 years old though. The red wedding happened so effing long ago. Most people don't, most kids playing the game don't even know what the red wedding is. That's how long
it's gonna be like Strixhaven, where I'm gonna say this is, we're gonna be it's a lot like Harry Potter. Be well, actually the idea of the cursed wedding has existed in things I know it's not, but it's not Innistrad Kill Bill, which would be a reference to another cursed wedding. It's Innistrad Crimson Vow, which is an explicit, it's literally just reworded. Well,
actually, if you go back to Bayonne, where George R. R. Martin is from, you would know that this is not anything like that.
But it
Shut
doesn't matter
up.
because a person who, first of all, I've never seen Game of Thrones or read any of those books. But I went to a friend's birthday party once. And
Red birthday party?
no, it was a regular birthday party. We were cube drafting and it was awesome. It was this guy,
Is this my
Tyler,
birthday party?
he had the best cube in Utah, and we were drafting it. It actually was the best cube in Utah. It was so great. It was the most fun I've had. I mean, it was a lot of fun. But before the cube draft started, I go into the living room and they've got this, it's like a bachelor pad. So it's this house in Salt Lake City, and there's like 3 guys who live there, and it's like a bachelor pad. They've got like their cube, and they've got their big screen, and they're watching Game of Thrones. And it's just like I watch it, it's like horrible dialogue, and then just like creepily close to hardcore pornography. And I just turned to the guy watching, like, people like this show.
Yeah.
Like, this is so awkward. Like, we're just sitting here, we're in Utah.
It's a bunch of straight men in a room
There's
watching
like
porno.
There's like just weird, like it's not quite porn, but it was like that YouTube video, like the Funny or Die video, where it's like, Mom, I got a spot at an HBO show. Well, who do you play? Oh, I play like a dwarf who gets like, who has sex with like, a wizard. Like, wait, this is HBO? No, I think it's whatever. I screwed up. They get a job in Hollywood. They describe it to their parents, and it's just like sexually explicit. They're like, "You're working in the porn industry." Like, oh no, it's not. It's HBO. They're describing real scenes from like The Sopranos and Game of Thrones and Californication. But yeah, it was that, and I was like, well, and then the guy goes, well, they really toned it down after this part with like, I'm like, still, like, my aunt watched this show, and I knew she did. And I was like, I got to get out of here. And I went outside. I was like, I can't watch this show.
The season after that one was even worse.
I mean, I think it was the first season.
Like, I mean, explicitly, I think it was a very good season, like TV wise, but it was.
I'm not a prude about it, but it's like one of those things where it's like, all right, we get the point. Like, don't we have to explain this very complex world to me? Are we gonna sit on this for another 15 minutes? I just gotta watch this.
Just like watching this dude just like go raw dog on somebody. You're like, come on, dude.
It's insane.
It's now just time to move the plot.
I'll just read the recaps on the internet and find and draft off enough cultural references so that in 5 years I understand the reference when they put out Innistrad Crimson Vow.
To that end, I am mad excited for Wheel of Time. That's coming out on Prime, I think, in late October.
I had a friend who was reading those 15 years ago, and I was like, that sounds like a lot of work.
It is. It was a lot of work. Was I the friend?
No, it was my friend Rory, who was a singer in a band. But like,
are you sure it wasn't me?
I didn't know you 15 years ago, which is hard to believe. But
Nate, how do you feel about Streets of New Capenna?
No, but I will say, Streets of New Capenna sounds awesome. Like, I'm excited for it. It's gonna be so on the nose though, because they're just like that, which is what makes it funny. I was in Target today with my kids, and I found the Godfather trilogy on DVD for $13.99 new. Isn't that weird?
It's strange that like physical
that
media,
sounds like an offer you can't refuse.
I own the Godfather trilogy on DVD.
Physical
which I probably paid
$85
for like 20 years ago.
For movies costs nothing. Like TikTok is full of people just wandering into like thrift stores and buying like 40 Blu-rays for like $6.
Well, what's funny is we're supposed to be going on a road trip soon. That's gonna be like 10 hours long. So that's why I was looking at the DVDs to see if there was any cheap DVDs for the kids to watch, because we've had the same book of DVDs in our van that has a DVD player for 9 years or however long.
I should send you my book and just upgrade your kids to like horror movies.
Well, the thing is that for a while we weren't using the van for road trips, but we got back to using the van for road trips, and it's got the DVD player in it. So I pull up the DVD book, and it's like, okay, it's still movies the kids like. It's it's the 3 Madagascar movies. It's all the kids' movies. 3 Madagascar movies. It's Finding Dory. But when you put it in and they play on the, they play behind you, right? And it's like coming into theaters in 2009. And it's like, oh, this DVD is super old because I bought it used when I bought this van, which was also several years after Blu-ray technology existed. And right before the kids just watch movies on their iPads. But The funny thing is, like, I'd be like, watch a movie on your iPad. They're like, no, we want to use the DVD player because it's cool to them that the thing plays in the
Throwback
car.
technology.
And they think it's cool that it plays in the car. I'm like, you guys can watch anything you want for as long as you want in super high def instead of on this shitty LCD screen in our minivan, but they just think it's cool.
Your kids are going to be record collectors when they grow up, dude.
Yeah, well, their uncle collects records, and that's,
Dude,
you know,
it's the same thing as like us enjoying playing games that are an 8-bit.
Yeah, or
Right,
playing a game where you could easily play it on the internet, but we play it with cardboard instead.
right. Well, it's also, but that's the thing is, like, there's a nostalgia thing there, and these kids don't have nostalgia for like physical media. They don't have any memory of like going to rent a movie or like not being able to watch a movie because you didn't own it. You couldn't just stream it, you know? Like, that's the funny thing is, like, well, what do we have on DVD? Well, it's like, well, we've got the same thing we always have. We have the 3 Madagascar movies, Toy Story, you know, Finding Dory.
The reason why I know all the words to Wayne's World, you know, like, because it was all I owned on tape.
Yeah, it's like you had to just watch what you had. And like, they could download the stuff, anything they want, to their iPads, you know, within reason. They can't get everything, but like with Disney Plus, they can see a lot of stuff. And but yeah, they think it's cool to watch it on the thing in the van, even though it's not great picture quality. It's better sound quality though. I would say for sure that like the van is the one place to get a surround sound experience or something. But I just think it's funny that that's how that works. But why was I talking about that? Oh, because we were talking about Streets of Duke Fenna, one of the Godfather DVD thing.
This is going to be so good.
I'm coming back. First of all, I'm coming back for that one because I have to explain all the references to you guys, because I don't know if you guys are Paisan.
What is it? Is it based in Rochester? Like,
no, it's Italy, man. It's Long Island.
I know about Italy. I've been to Italy a couple of times.
Yeah, you've been to Italy.
It's going to be Martin Scorsese, the Magic the Gathering set.
I'm into it. I will there be Soprano references as well? Will there be like a New Jersey section?
There's gonna be. We're gonna go through and we're gonna be like, all right, what's this? This is from Casino. This is from Miller's Crossing. You know they're gonna do it. You know they're gonna do it.
I will never get over the fact that they could have just put demons in suits, but instead they were like, no, the demons need to be in armor, and the armor needs to look like a
pinstripe suit.
It's like, you could.
It's like
demons.
a Hearthstone.
They're demons.
Set,
you don't need. They don't need to be.
We
don't need to have demons in armor. You could have them in suits, but they were like, no, you got to have the armor.
We've jumped the shark and we're now Hearthstone. You know, that's like kind of what's happened. Is like,
dude,
that sort of kitschy, like, you know, like, oh, now all the demons are wearing pinstripe suits and everyone's having a disco. Like, that's where we're at now.
Kamigawa, Neon Genesis.
I am confident.
I am confident. Not even
the card. The card is going to be called Offer You Can't Refuse, and it's going to be the first ever playable Punisher mechanic.
Right.
Offer You Can't Refuse should literally just be a reprint of Contract from Below.
They're gonna print like a thing that makes two goblins and call it like Quality People instead of Goodfellas or something like that. They're gonna think they're clever, but Goodfellas is what makes funny. It is funny that the demons have armor that is pinstripe, because I mean, and you realize like, oh wait, they're really it's just gonna be that on the nose. I've never seen Neon Genesis Evangelion either, but of course they call it Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, which is of course the reason they did it. Yeah, I don't get why they do it. I just don't know why they're so on the nose. Just like, I guess it's just that much easier to be like, oh, I understood that reference. Streets of New Canada though, gonna be sweet.
Do you think there will be a My Cousin Vinny card?
Obviously.
Well, they're not gonna go to the American South. Like, maybe.
Dude, they're gonna take every gangster movie reference they can get and put it in the set. They're gonna have a card. They're gonna have a demon that's like
the Marissa Tomei legend.
What are they gonna put in the set?
They're gonna have a demon killing a clown and say "funny like a clown, funny." That's what we're gonna get.
I think I just did the last.
It's gonna be a moto spell, and it's gonna be like choose one. And it's gonna say funny, and then it's gonna say funny like a clown.
What am I funny? What am I funny like a clown to you?
You said, do I amuse you?
That's the name of the card. Do I amuse you?
I need a card that just says like, if you fight Nikki with your fists, Nikki's gonna come back with a bat. If you fight Nikki with a bat, Nikki's gonna come back with a gun, and what you better kill that motherfucker because sooner or later one of the two of you is gonna be dead.
That's going to be the mythic
Like,
cycle.
just an entire line of text that is the title of a card.
Well,
Just so you guys know, my battery is about to die. So let me grab my battery.
We probably got like 5 minutes, but what are they gonna rip off here? They're gonna do a god. There's gonna be Godfather references.
You get,
Oh my
you
God.
get Godfather.
When
You get Goodfellas. Do you think Serpico will be in there?
Hold on, is Phil back yet? When he's back, I want to know. Are you back yet? He's
One
not
sec.
back yet.
Phil is
All right.
Because
We
I want him
back.
here for this
Survived.
bit. I want him here for this
We did
bit.
it. I'm back.
Okay. Is there going to be a mechanic where when this thing enters the battlefield, you become the Godfather?
Oh, it's so good.
And
it's
like,
not the
yeah,
Monarch, it's the Godfather.
instead of the Monarch, it's the Godfather. Now, listen. Here's
It's
the
gonna be
thing.
dude. The Monarchs. They're just gonna they're gonna play it as the Godfather. They're just gonna have the Monarch in the set.
The Monarch. Okay, so the Monarch is from Conspiracy. Conspiracy took place in fake Italy as well.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
a different fake Italy.
This is a different. That's a Renaissance fake Italy.
You guys, I think this is gonna be like, yeah, it's gonna have all of the all of the reference that you said, but it's just instead it's gonna be like 1920s New York.
No, well, yeah. I mean, Capenna is a city in Italy. So,
No, I get that they're referencing Italy.
but I guess
What I'm
it's
saying
new
is-
Capenna. Those are going to be it's the new world, right?
New
is it?
Capenna.
It's the demon is who, right? Doesn't a demon have a name?
Obnixilis.
Obnixilis. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And isn't wheelchair guy in the set too?
Duretti?
Goblin? Duretti, yes.
Duretti
Oh, yeah,
and Mom
Duretti's
Spaghetti.
probably in the set. Yeah,
I thought I saw him in the art, but I might have been Obnixilis, and I got.
I'm a big
confused.
fan. I'm a big fan of
Obnixilis
Duretti.
is as far as I know,
Duretti, who
Obnixilis
is
confirmed.
from the other Italian set.
The other Italians. Okay, that's why I was thinking. Maybe that's why I got confused in the other. He's in the other Italian racism set. Yeah.
Duretti would make sense. in the
Yeah.
set.
I mean, well, yeah, but then like Queen Marquesa, maybe she becomes a planeswalker. Like maybe she's back. You
Sure.
know, they're all Italian. Like that land Fiona was like Venice. It was supposed to be Venice, I think.
Yeah.
And they didn't do any. Like that was a cool setting, and they're just gonna like, well, we'll just toss that out the window and make another Italy stereotype set, and it's gonna be about mobsters. But I know it's gonna be cool because Call Time was cool. Like I thought Call Time was cool.
Yeah, when they don't rip something off, it's generally a pretty good. They do a pretty good job of world building. When they rip something off, like completely.
Magic is second to none in world building. They are incredible in world building.
Well,
staying in
except
that
that
world
too many
for
of them are
long.
jokes now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like because I mean I'm still sour about Strixhaven, but like even like I said with this new Innistrad, it was like kind of like doesn't feel like the old. I mean, I guess it can't possibly feel like the old Innistrads, but like I don't know. It didn't feel right in the same way. It didn't feel like even the Innistrad when they went back to Innistrad and made it Cthulhu Innistrad, it was pretty cool.
Eldrazi Part 2.
Eldritch,
But even Eldritch was
whatever.
the word I was looking for. Yeah. But I actually thought the set was very evocative, even with that. They added that to the setting in a way that I thought was pretty cool. And
Yeah,
it
and they
worked.
didn't spoil it immediately. Like everyone was pretty sure, but no one was positive until they came out with the second set, and you're like, "Ah, I fucking knew it, man."
Yeah, Emrakul's in the set. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but even then, like, I don't think it's bad they did that. I didn't think that
I
was
thought it
bad.
was fine.
A lot of people hated that. I didn't understand why. I think they just.
Eldrazi suck. I think everybody hates Eldrazi.
Was it after? Because it was after. Oh, because I remember why. Because it was Battle for Zendikar, where they also went back to Zendikar and didn't make it They made it like less interesting. But like they did the thing. Return to Ravnica. They were having a bad track record going back. Because Return to Ravnica, I remember it was not as just as.
Do you remember how
evocative as
hyped
the
everyone
original
was
one.
for Battle for Zendikar? Especially because they had the treasure chest stuff too. Like everyone was so hyped. I remember I know people who bought several cases so that they could open up like the whatever the mythic.
Candela.
Use your alien. Eldrazi are just notoriously very good at making every place that they're in just a way worse experience.
Right, but
Yeah.
but the sets, but Shadows and Eldritch Moon, neither of which are very good sets. They're not good sets. Battle for Zendikar, people say Battle for Zendikar and Oath of the Gatewatch we're both not good sets, but also the setting was very. They were trying to make their Avengers. They were trying to set up their Avengers thing, and they took away from the Zendikar experience. In the similar way, when they did return to Ravnica, they were trying to retcon characters into Ravnica that had not been there before, because there were no planeswalkers when Ravnica City of Guilds came out, and that came at the expense of all the cool Eastern European flavor.
Yeah,
it kind of went away, and it became like, and
this
but
is
the
just where
Innistrad,
Jace hangs
Innistrad,
out.
but like they did it bad with bad. They did okay with Innistrad. That's why I thought this set would be more interesting. But now they're kind of like, they kind of threw everything out the window, and they're like restarting the Innistrad concept from scratch. But the original Innistrad concept, and then the way it continued through Eldritch Moon, was actually pretty cool. I thought they actually did a good job of it. And this is lacking that.
Well,
But
I think there's also something to be said about this Innistrad set. As somebody who I feel like I follow the story fairly closely, like more than like, you know, just a regular whatever casual who, you know, just checking in. I get the function of Crimson Vow, where it's the marriage of the Voldaren bloodline to the Markov bloodline to just like make vampires more powerful so they can take over Innistrad. Like, I get the function of what that set is in terms of like, here's what's going on in the world, because the vampires want to like take dominance over as everything is going in flux. And to do that, they need to combine the bloodline. And the way that you do that in vampire trope is you have a wedding and you marry the bloodlines together. Cool. So I get that. In this set, I just know that there's werewolves, but I don't know. I guess it's just like the werewolves are dominant.
yeah, what's going on?
That's what I mean. Like,
there's nothing,
I feel like Innistrad, when we first went there, it was evocative because you had the storyline of like the demon and the angel in the Hell Vault, and now all hell's breaking loose. And Liliana's specifically going there to break open the Hell Vault to like kill a demon that she's part of a contract to. And Thalia's there protecting the Hell Vault and has to make the case of like, do I let my people die or do I protect the Hell Vault? And then there's a decision to be made, and that's interesting.
And Garrick is there for reasons.
And he's cursed, and he's like, so Liliana's trying to find the demon to kill to break the contract, and Garrick's there to try and kill Liliana. It's like there's a lot of story baked in to why everything was happening, and why, like, it's like all shit is breaking loose because Avacyn is in the Hell Vault, and Avacyn is supposed to make it so hell doesn't break loose. And so Sora needs to come back to be like, why is hell breaking loose? Where did the angel I go make? There's a lot going on. Like, everybody had a thing going on. And then Nahiri shows up and is like, hey, remember Soren, how you screwed me over like eons ago, and now I'm here to fuck up your world. I'm like, there's so many different storylines layered at the exact same time, and any of them could have ended everybody else's storyline at any moment, and that was exciting. And I have no idea if anything is happening.
No, you have Ren
now.
and Seven, who we still know nothing about Ren, as far as I know. Like the characters in this set, same way. Like, yeah, there's Ren and Seven. Who? Is there another play? Oh, Teferi's here again, just doing the same thing Teferi always does.
Yeah, just
which is be
being
white
a
and
time
blue.
dick.
Yeah, and then like the Arlen again. They didn't really. Sigarda's still here. I actually, and funny.
Like Sigarda's the new
another
Avacyn.
funny thing about this.
Doing it wrong.
I don't. This is not related to my dislike of Delver in general, but they reprinted Delver's Secrets, but they had just spent the last set finishing the story of the Delver of Secrets. Like, he's not a legendary creature, but the Delver of Secrets, and then he had another card,
right.
and then he had another card, and then
correct.
and it would have been cool if it was like, oh, what is this? Like, I found, this abandoned. It's also like
we got
no,
to
like,
docent of perfection, and then you're like, now let's start over again.
Yeah, we're gonna start over again. And it's like it's not even like, oh, the guy found it. Like this new Delver of Secrets found the abandoned lab. It's like, I'm just another guy doing the same experiment. You know,
Learned nothing. Proof that no one believes in science on Innistrad.
He's like, oh, I put this concoction together, and now I'm pretty fly for a blue guy.
Wow. All right. Well, hey, it's been wonderful having you here, Nate. I think we should end on that. Wow. All right.
You get it because he's a fly now.
Yeah,
and he's a blue.
We get it. Yeah.
Wait, no. I think Nate, you should definitely explain it.
Definitely explain it to everyone.
The joke explainer is well, it's good to be back.
Yeah, no, it was a blast having you. Thanks for coming in.
I'm so hyped now for New Capenna. I was already hyped for New Capenna, but now the fact that I know that you're coming back to do the New Capenna cast with us,
definitely coming back to New Capenna, because
even more hyped.
It's gonna be the same thing where I'm gonna commit to it now, and then so it's not gonna be as good as I thought.
Dude,
but I don't care.
True or false though, Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. This is really going to be how we know if 2022 is going to be good or total shit. Okay. In Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, in Kamigawa, I'm going to give you a yes or no. All I need is a yes or no. Are we going to have vehicles, and are they going to be Tokyo Drift?
Yeah, that's what we're gonna find out. No, I don't think so. I think it's gonna look like the casino level in Sonic.
Yeah.
That's what I keep getting out of it. It's gonna look like that.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I think that'll do it for tonight. Thanks to our Patrons, and I think that's it. Have a good one, everybody.
Have a good week.
I'm the one who plays Gutshot. I'm the one. I didn't die. I'm the one who plays Gutshot. I'm the one. I didn't die. I'm the one who plays Gutshot. I'm the one. I didn't die. I'm the one who plays Gutshot. I'm the one. I didn't die. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. You're gonna be ready to pay it. If you hesitate, you're not playing 19 life to the dome, no question. Non-1, your game is arrested. What about the burn when you say go? Sitting at 1, you can't take no. Passing a turn, don't take no time. Just fade 1 and stay alive. I'm the one who plays Gutshot. I'm the one. I didn't die. I'm the one who plays Gutshot. I'm the one. I didn't die. You're gonna be ready to play it. If you hesitate, you're not playing 19 cards, my feeling sane. Stay at 1 and win the game. Pay 19 life and I can't win. Karma that eliminates a life of sin. Sure as it holds no others. But if you win the game, your life total don't matter. I'm the one who plays Gutshot. I'm the one. I didn't die. I'm the one who plays Gutshot. I'm the one. I didn't die. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Yeah. I am at 1. Yeah. I'm the one who plays Gutshot. I'm the one. I didn't die. I'm the one who plays Gutshot. I'm the one. I didn't die. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey.
Strong.